Hello everybody and welcome to the 2023 Vacation Q&A. So let's get right into the questions, shall we? So from Dudu Cosmin we have, are you gonna stream again? I don't remember you going live in a while. Well, I would love to stream, but unfortunately my internet isn't quite up to it. I actually barely have enough bandwidth at the moment to just play Warframe and Path, and it takes me forever to upload videos at the moment. So while I would love to stream, I unfortunately can't. Next up we have Eres. Have you started watching anime? What animes have you watched? Well, I have started watching anime and I've been watching JoJo. Unfortunately, Netflix restricted JoJo here in Czech Republic, so I'm gonna have to get a VPN to keep watching. But it's been very fun so far. I'm actually enjoying it a lot. Next, 3 questions actually come from Thimo Vishaft. That's your name now. Where are you going for your vacation? Well, I'm sticking to Czech Republic because there are still many beautiful places that I haven't seen yet and that I would like to see. Then he asks, how is Birdman doing? Unfortunately, Thimo, Birdman has passed away. He was very old. He died of old age 2 years ago. But it was very peaceful. He basically just went to sleep and didn't wake up, so it was as peaceful as it could have been. And the final question is, what weapons would you like to see getting an Incarnon adapter? And honestly, they pretty much covered all the weapons that I wanted an adapter for, so I'm good for now. Because even if I really like a weapon and it doesn't have an Incarnon adapter yet, it has either a Kuva version or a Tenet version or something like that, so I think most weapons are in a pretty good state right now. And also remember, it's okay for some weapons to just be bad. You know, we need some bad weapons in the game. That's okay. Moving on to Garen Spaghetti. Any tips for a nice homemade comfort food for this summer, Chef MC? Well, in the summer, I actually tend to go for salads and fruits and that kind of stuff. So a nice fruit salad, I think, is always a good choice for summer because it's nice and refreshing. So yeah, I would go for a fruit salad. But you know, you can never go wrong with a nice barbecue-style burger either. Mr. Human Being asks, are you a human? Yes, I am very much human. I enjoy moving my limbs and eating bread and drinking water like all the other humans do. Samantha Laurier asks, thoughts on the Incarnon Atomos? Well, unfortunately, Samantha, I've not picked up the Atomos yet, or the adapter for the Atomos rather, and I've not looked it up either. I kind of want it to be a bit of a surprise, so unfortunately, I have no answer for you. Jacob Benke asks, favorite pizza toppings? Well, I tend to go fairly plain. I like a good old margarita, so you know, just a bit of tomato, a bit of basil, and a little bit of mozzarella. But I won't shy away from like pepperoni or even corn. I actually really like corn on pizza. Next up, we have Carlson Mosonovic. What do you think about people who are playing public, but they are going much slower than the whole party because they prefer to play the style of breaking and opening every container like back in 2014? Well, I think that if you play in public, you forfeit any right to complain about how people play because you openly choose to play with random people. And random people will do random things. I genuinely don't think it's that bad outside of some very specific scenarios, like for example, if you're speedrunning fissure capture, so you want to get it done as fast as possible, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but at worst, you're losing like what? A minute of your time because, you know, you're gonna extract no matter what if at least 2 people make it to the extraction. Actually, Carson has a second question here. Have you ever tried to use the momentum of a slam attack to launch yourself into the air instead of towards the ground? I don't do it deliberately, but every now and then, it just sort of happens, and instead of slamming into the ground, I go flying through the air. It kind of staggers me every time it happens because I'm not expecting it and I just go flying through the mission. But yeah, it happens every now and then, but I don't even know how you would like force it to happen. Next up, we have Nicholas. Be sure to enjoy your vacation. Thank you very much. And my question is, do you think Warframe will ever add infested liches? I think they will add infested liches at some point. It would make sense. We have Grenier liches, we have the Sisters of Parvos, which are effectively Corpus liches. So I think at some point, we will get infested liches as well. I think infested liches and the weapons you would get from them would actually be more interesting than the Kuva and Tenet versions because, you know, it's the infestation, so you can do wild stuff with it. Next question we have from MT Void, just wondering what operator abilities affect Eidolons. I genuinely have no idea. I don't do Eidolons anymore because, well, I already got everything from them, so I actually have no clue. Alex Carter asks, if you could rework a Warframe, which one would you pick and what would you fix? Honestly, I think the Warframe selection we have is absolutely fine. Yes, some Warframes are better than others, some Warframes excel in certain situations and bomb in others, and some Warframes are relatively okay for basically everything. And that's perfect. We need a good mixture of warframes, right? You can't have every warframe be the best at everything. That just doesn't work. But if I had to pick one, I would take Limbo and remove his Cataclysm just to piss people off. Next question we have from Bronze Avengers, and it's how much do you value your account after all these years of grinding, love, hate, and everything else? I value it a lot. Basically, let's just say, if I were to lose my account at some point for whatever reason, I would not play Warframe anymore. That's how much I value my account. It would be such a severe loss to me, I would just move on to a different game instead. Then we have Mr. Loaf. How much do you lift, bruh? Well, I don't know, but you can figure it out. Go weigh your mum. Mr. Saniel Zalian, I guess, asks, hey, do you think you'd ever do a Path of Exile tutorial playthrough? Well, I thought about it. A lot, actually, because I want to introduce more people into Path of Exile. I've played the game for 11 years now, and I still love it. But it is an incredibly complicated game. Like, incredibly complicated game. It's a game that you learn over months and months and months of play. So it'd be very difficult to construct a tutorial playthrough that explains everything properly without confusing the absolute hell out of the people that will watch it. Moving on, we have a question from Ballora. Hey Daddy MC, hello there Ballora. As a fellow gentleman, I must ask thou, what is thou favorite loadout? And nowadays, with the Incarnon adapters, it would be Incarnon Boltor Prime, then probably Incarnon Leto or Vasto Prime. And for the melee, I think I'm gonna go with Glaive Prime. Glaive Prime is always good fun. Next up, we have you, Renegade. What are your predictions for TennoCon? I think they might do something with melee. I'm not sure, but I think they might do something with melee because it's very strange, right, with the Duviri Paradox, to add a new tutorial, and within this tutorial, to tutorialize a melee system that doesn't exist outside of the tutorial, because the Drifter melee only exists in Duviri Paradox, which is effectively the new tutorial, right? So why would you do something like that? It makes no sense unless you're planning to add it into the game or do something with it at some point, right? Then we have Mr. Jason Nan. It would interest me what your favorite Incarnon adapter is now that we have seen them all. I'm gonna go with the Boltor. I really like the Boltor adapter, though one issue with it, like with a lot of them actually, a lot of the new adapters, is that you don't get an awful lot of charge for the Incarnon mode. I would like to see a way to perhaps increase the Incarnon charge on them, whether it be via like, let's just say an Exilus mode or something like that. I would just like to be able to sit in Incarnon mode for longer periods of time on a lot of these weapons. Question number, 785, we have Sam Shelton. Have you dealt with burnout in games like Warframe, especially now that he has moved to a more live service weekly content cycle? I have. And the way I combat it is I just play more games. The reason why you're seeing more Path of Exile content now is because I've been getting a little bit burned out on Warframe, so I started playing Path of Exile and I decided to make content from it. That's basically the best thing you can do. Just don't play the game until you hate it, even though a lot of games nowadays are kind of designed to be played like that. So if you're getting burned out, take breaks, do other stuff. That's the best thing you can do. And I know it can be difficult sometimes because of all these FOMO mechanics, right? Fear of missing out. They basically put something in so that if you don't log in every day, you feel like, oh my god, I'm missing out on this, I should log in. That's how you get people burned out. It's a stupid system because while it may bump your numbers on like Steam or whatever, so it looks like more people are playing the game, more people are also like burning out on the game because of it. I think FOMO systems are incredibly short-sighted. Then we have Valkyrie Yin. Enjoy your time, MC. Thank you very much. My question is, who is your favorite frame? For any reason? Well, I have favorites for different things. If I just want to chill out, it's gonna be Inaros. If I want to have some good old melee frantic fun, I'm gonna go with Varuna. If I want to do dumb stuff, I might go Mirage or Gyre, and if I just want to enjoy the mechanics, I'm probably gonna pick Nidus and use him. So I guess it depends on what I'm in the mood for. Next question coming in from It's Elisa. What are your top 5 games of all time and why? Well, let's see. We have Warframe, Path of Exile, because, you know, they're incredibly good fun and they can last you forever, basically. I have to put Minecraft in there somewhere because you can do infinite number of things in Minecraft and I love playing it. Then, well, I have to put in Morrowind, Diablo 2, and because I don't give a damn about your rules, man, I'm gonna do 6 and say that my favorite game of all time is still to this day Dungeon Keeper. Next up, we have Chess Pizza. What improvements do you believe Warframe should make? Any mission reworks you think they should focus on? Honestly, the biggest improvement they could make in my eyes is to just integrate all these little bits and bobs that they've added over the years into the game. Because like, let's just look at, I don't know, Javelin capacitors. They're used for like 3 things and then you just feed them to Helminth. That's about it. So I would just go over the game and take these things that have sort of been forgotten about and have no use basically, and I would try to integrate them into different things so they actually have a use. So basically better utilization of what we already have rather than adding in new things. Next question comes in from Nilo. Hey, hope you had a great vacay. I most certainly will have a great vacay, thank you very much. Anyway, I have more of a general question about Path of Exile. Will it be mainstay? Yes, it will. Because not only is it really fun to play and edit and make videos out of, it's also helping to keep me sane and it prevents me from burning out on Warframe, right? If I feel burned out on Warframe, I'll play Path for a little bit and record some stuff there, and then I will go back to Warframe nice and refreshed. And the second part of the question is about the Aura Stacker. What makes the Aura Stacker work? I get the whole many auras and auras are a good thing, but it seems like such a weird way to build a character to me. That's because it is. There is a reason why not many people do it. It's difficult, it takes a long time, it takes very specific gear, and in a lot of cases you're better off just making a normal character. I would not recommend building an aura stacker to the vast majority of people. I'm doing it in Ruthless Solo Self-Found because it's a bit of a challenge and because I like playing aura stackers. But the reason it works is basically because you can technically get everything from auras in Path of Exile. So what you do is you build a character that's made specifically to buff the auras as much as possible, and you sacrifice everything else. So you get damage through damage auras, you get defense through defensive auras, you get elemental protection from, purities and all that, and you get speed from stuff like haste. The difficult part about building an aura stacker is, well, you need to fit the auras in, so you need a lot of reservation efficiency, so they actually fit onto your mana and health, and you also need to buff them enough to make it worth it. Because using baseline auras is not good enough. But on top of that, you also need to use some clever mechanics to get enough damage. The best example of this is Nebulous with Call of the Brotherhood. You use a lightning spell, which you scale through Nebulous. You then convert all the lightning into cold and scale it through Nebulous again. So yeah, it's a very complicated character and you generally need to be pretty strict with how you set it up, because even if one thing is off, it just might not work. Next up, we have Theta RX2. I hope you enjoyed the vacation and have a wonderful time. Thank you very much. And for my question, if you could design a Warframe and their signature weapon from the ground up, what would it be? Now, normally I would answer this with a summoner, but recently I had an interesting idea. So basically it would be a Warframe that wouldn't use weapons in the traditional sense, but rather it would animate them to fight for it. It would be similar to like the ability that Zaku has that steals enemy weapons, but instead of stealing enemy weapons, you would be animating your own. So you could mod them and all that, and the abilities that the Warframe would have would either be for animating the weapons or for buffing the weapons and, affecting them in some way. Mr. Lauren Max 2.0 asks, I still can't believe you live from making YouTube videos. Have you lost a bit of economic stability or are you using savings? It's been like 6 years or so that you said you live from this and you don't take sponsors. And well, it's a little bit dodgy from time to time, but overall I'm not a very expensive person. I don't need expensive things. And the memberships actually do help quite a bit as well. And also, I saved up a lot of the money that I made around Warframe's peak, which was right around the Fortuna release. I was basically working non-stop, I was barely sleeping, so I made a decent chunk of change and, that's kind of helping me because, if, for example, 1 month, the revenue isn't as good, it doesn't bother me as much. But overall, I'm doing fine. Can't complain. Mr. Cole Johnson asks, do you think we will ever get to fight the third orb in the Valles? The one chilling in the water? At this point, I don't think so. It's been so long. Then we have Scroll CZ. Hello there. Which one is better, chicken or beef fried schnitzel? I don't think I've ever had beef fried schnitzel. Like genuinely, maybe once or twice. But here it's mostly chicken, sometimes turkey, very rarely, and pork. Link the Elf asks, do you believe that DE is capable of fixing Conclave? No, Warframe just isn't a good game for PvP. Then we have Chris. Hello, father. Hello, child. Where streams? Streams gone, internet bad, and any other games planned for the channel in the long run besides Warframe/PoE. No, not at the moment. Then we have the Shadow Tuber. Hello, Mr. MC. Love your videos. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying them. Have you ever thought of how long you're going to stick with Warframe? Not really. I'll play the game for as long as I'm having fun at it. Once it's no longer fun, then I will move on to something else. Then we have Masochistic Koala. What a username. What are your overall thoughts on the Incarnon Genesis system to bring auto weapons back into the meta? Do you think DE did good? I think they did very good actually, because they managed to buff a lot of weapons that have fallen off, but they didn't actually touch their normal versions, right? You can still get these weapons as you go through the game, and they're basically the same as they were before, but once you get deep enough into the game to get the adapter, you can really juice them up, and I think that's a really good way of doing things. Next question comes from Amgad. Do you plan your holidays ahead or just randomly decide to take a break? I have to plan them ahead because, well, there are other people that are going as well. I'm not the only person that's going to be going. And, you know, they are normal people, so they have normal jobs, so they actually have to take a vacation from the job, so I have to plan around them. Next up, we have Jeroni211. What are the good parts of doing your Warframe Encyclopedia series? And what are the less good ones? The good part is that I get to rediscover all these fun weapons that we have in the game. And the less good one is that it takes a lot of forma to get all the weapons up and running with a full build. Because, I don't know if you've noticed, but Warframe has a lot of weapons. So I'm gonna say the amount of forma that I have to build and buy. And we're slowly nearing the end with Alexander. My question is, why the whole gentleman theme? It's a neat choice, but not something I think of when I look at a Stone Boy Atlas and a Jet Kit tag. Well, this all came from an old skit. This is like 6-7 years ago. It was a skit of the Gentleman, which was an Atlas with the Jet Kit tag. I was basically in Conclave and I was trolling Conclave because I was running around with the Jet Kit tag and Atlas and I was punching people with Landslide. That's basically all I would do. And it eventually just evolved into a whole brand for like the channel and the clan and everything. Next up, we have Little Trouble 07. What's your favorite bread? Well, in Europe, we just have bread, but to answer your question, I tend to prefer Italian bread, like rustic bread, you know, bread, not what Americans call bread. And what's your favorite cheese? Mozzarella. I love mozzarella. And the final question is from Pocho Clowo. I couldn't have picked a better username for the final question. Who's your favorite artist/band? And I'm gonna go with Black Dahlia Murders. Unfortunately, the vocalist Trevor Sternad is no longer with us, which, you know, as I've said, is unfortunate, but I really like their stuff. I like their style of like fast melodeath kind of music. And have you considered joining a band? Well, I was in a few bands when I was growing up, but nowadays, not really. And with that question, we conclude the 2023 Vacation Q&A. I thank you very much for, listening this time around, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.